And we are live. Welcome to the window to our mind number 33, aka episode 13 of season 2. How are you, DC?
Doing good.
That's good news. What about you, Gray?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm doing better than I was this weekend. Unexpected illness that just like wiped me out. So, yeah, now I'm feeling good. At least half alive. So, good times. What about you, Multi? How you feeling, sir?
I'm doing great. It's very, very odd. There's some kind of heat wave where I am, and that's really insufferable. But that meant when I was working out, more sweat. So I feel even more healthy because more sweat. Um, Outside of that, feeling good. Um, Cannot wait for that heat wave to just disappear. Please vanish. It's painful. How's the
It's only
heat?
June, man. Just wait till August.
How's the heat by your side of the country, Gray?
It is unseasonably cool right now. Like we were up almost to. I know these numbers mean nothing to you guys, but it was up almost over 100 here, and then all of a sudden we just dropped down to like 70 something. So it's crazy, like a 20-degree drop. I know it means nothing, the whole Fahrenheit Celsius thing. When you guys explain weather, I don't understand it. So I'm not expecting you guys to, but it's unseasonably pleasant right now, which is it different? It's a pleasant change. I enjoy it.
And what about you, DC, on your end of the country? Is it hot? Is
Yeah,
there a lot of heat?
it's very hard. Like, yeah.
That's summer. Um, and it's crazy because a lot of my coworker are like African and Asian, and they're like, "Here, you know nothing about heat," and I'm like, "I believe you. I believe you. I don't want to be on your continent because it's too hot." um, Anyway, we are not there to talk about hot summer. We are there to talk about
Why
dark
not? It's just what's
empathy.
outside of our windows, though. Come on. Yeah, fair enough. Dark Empathy. You're right. The title. So,
Um,
is this
I
one that you came up with, Multi?
no, you
Mm,
did.
no, it was actually me.
Oh, that
I was
was
gonna say,
you.
like,
Yeah.
I am not familiar with the
What?
concept, so I did like a quick Google search and was like, "Huh, I don't know, understand that." But yeah, I'm excited. Cool. I'm
Wait,
glad that you
DC came up
suggested
with it.
this,
Me
DC.
too.
Yeah,
What? I was sure it was great.
I know I did because I was the one who did the more like with people kind of like topics, which include like violence in media and this, so and dark empathy. So yeah.
I thank you. That's surprising. And before we get right into it, before I took a look on the internet of the definition of it, I was sure it was a thing like, oh, how we can feel on like being like a serial murderer or a criminal or something like that. I was sure
Oh,
it
like
was like,
empathizing with the dark.
yeah, exactly. I was sure that was what was going on with dark empathy. And then I did the Google search to not sound like too stupid or anything. And I realized it's not the case. So thank you, DC, for suggesting it. So now that we got right into it, I will ask you, why did you suggest that topic, DC?
It was because at the time, me and a friend of mine were going through something similar with the other person. Without getting too much into detail, we pretty much talked about like dark empathy and all that. So that's when it kind of gave me the idea, dark empathy for the podcast, because I thought there's a lot of really good examples of dark empathy on the podcast, or at least in media in general.
For
Okay,
sure.
thank you for sharing a lot. Again, I'm surprised it's you. Good job, bro.
I'm not DC. What can I say? I expect the best from you, so it makes sense.
It's more like because I thought like that was something Dre would think of, like because you bring like special things sometimes, like
So special.
Premeditario. I liked it. Like I think that was like week 3 or week 4 of season 2. I liked that one a lot. I was surprised. when we talked about it.
Thought maybe I did bring this one up, and it's like, is it just a different way of saying kind of like weaponized empathy? But no, man, this is an interesting concept. I understand it as well, just from a cursory Google search, but it's not what I assumed it would be. I was kind of thinking more along the lines of multi, like, okay, well, it's the dark side of empathy. It's like caring too much or something like that. But yeah, completely different concept entirely, and it's really not one that I would have put together on my own. So this is awesome. Thank you for bringing this to us, DC. I'm excited to dive in a little bit deeper.
So I will ask you now, DC. Do you know anyone that's been using dark empathy or that's been turning people like that?
Yeah, tons of people.
Oh my! Any
Yeah,
story you'd like to share, or not really?
not really.
Okay. And what about you, Gray? Do you know anyone like that?
Oh yeah, come on, we all do. Yeah, so I guess it would probably help to kind of define what it is. So from this one definition that I'm seeing, dark empaths understand the way you're feeling and make it seem as though they care, but they're using their cognitive ability to empathize with you for their personal gain. So like a bunch of examples of this would be like gossiping, for instance. Um, we've all participated a bit, but when I was looking through like the traits, it's like, oh God, like could I be a dark empath? Like I understand people's emotions. I don't necessarily feel them. Like, does that make me a dark empath? And then it got to the whole extroverted part. It's like, oh, sweet. I'm not an extrovert. Yeah, I'm definitely not looking to be like the center of attention or anything like that. So fair enough. But the other thing is like manipulative. Like who hasn't been manipulative? Who hasn't been keenly perceptive at times? Who hasn't maintained some sort of emotional distance, or who hasn't judged themselves somewhat critically? But then that fifth one that I just got to is they're extroverted, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm totally not extroverted. But yeah, anytime we've kind of participated in gossip, I guess we're kind of getting there. We're doing something that would be along the lines of dark empathy. So I don't know. It is kind of interesting. I'm glad I don't fully lock in with this. There are other parts of it that they're saying is part of the three interconnected maladaptive personality constructs that go with it are the dark triad, apparently, Machiavellianism, psychopathy, and narcissism. So, yeah, I also don't feel like I necessarily suffer from those, although I have been accused of at least one of those. But yeah, I don't know. Do you have any dark empaths in your life, Multi?
I used to know someone like that, but when I think of dark empaths, I always think of TV shows. I don't know why. I feel like a lot of villains are just flipping people dark side like that. Like they use your fear, or they use your bad side, and they turn you into what they want you to fit in. Um, that's that's really dark empathy, I think, in a nutshell. Um, and when I look at that, narcissism, psychopathy, and Machiavellianism, I feel like some people may have all of these three, but not necessarily all of the traits. If you know what I mean, like they may have like bits of narcissism sometime, and they may have a bit of psychopathy, and they may have a bit of Machia. I don't know how to pronounce that word.
Machiavellianism. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Like we all have traits of it. I mean, like we are on the internet talking. I guess somebody could say this is a narcissistic trait. That doesn't mean that we have, like clinical narcissism or anything like that. It seems like these are a little bit, higher in those, not just like, there's a dusting of narcissism. It seems like it's more full on clinical narcissism, but maybe I'm wrong.
So now that we kind of talked a bit about that, how can we like beat the shit out of that if we see it happening? Do you have any idea, DC?
Not really.
What about you, Gray? Do you have any idea
Um,
how we can beat it?
Well, I was kind of looking for examples of like what dark empathy would be. A few of them that it gave me is like manipulation. Dark empaths use manipulative tactics such as gossiping, sarcasm, love bombing, gaslighting, and playing the victim. They also might like to guilt trip others into feeling that they have been wronged. Um, like some of those tactics I've definitely used. I've definitely gossiped. I've definitely used sarcasm. Not really into the love bombing thing. I guess I've been accused of gaslighting, but yeah, I don't like being the victim. I really don't like attention being put on me, and I don't like people thinking like, oh, poor Gray, poor whatever. And I really don't like to guilt trip others, but who's to say that I'm pretty sure we've all at some point guilt tripped somebody, whether it's intentional or not. So again, it's kind of that you'd be actually using these tactics somewhat intentional. Another one that it kind of brings up is ghosting. Dark empaths may end relationships suddenly without notice or explanation. I wouldn't say that I like to ghost people. I am horrible at communication. I just am not good at like actually noticing. And then half the time it's like, okay, I got a notification. I'll dismiss this right now and I'll definitely go back. And then I just never go back. It is a bad time. I'm not attempting to ghost people though. I've been ghosted. That blows. It just leaves you with a whole bunch of questions. Obviously, somebody who ghosts somebody isn't truly empathizing with them. They don't care about their feelings. They might know that it's one way to get under somebody's skin or whatever. But as far as how to deal with it, I guess, have actual empathy for people that like you're gossiping about them. It will probably get back to them and it would probably hurt them to find out that that's going on. Sarcasm, I think you could still use sarcasm. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a sarcastic guy, but I don't think it's the worst. I think there's a time and a place for everything. If somebody's like, opening their heart to you, maybe don't be sarcastic in that very moment. But yeah, as far as like gaslighting, it sucks to try and make somebody crazy. That does seem very messed up. And then playing the victim. I guess, try to actually talk to people, try to actually have real empathy for their feelings and, try not to be a dick for no reason. I guess that would be where I'm trying to go with this. The other main thing is they're saying that dark empaths lack empathy, even though they know what cognitive empathy, so they understand it. They don't give a shit about it. They're using it instead for their own gain, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, don't use others' empathy to make yourself better. Just empathize with people so that you can be on the same page and understand. But yeah, I don't know how exactly you would combat it if you're actually experiencing it yourself, other than some deep work and introspection and probably some sustained therapy. Probably something that would take a while to kind of change, because it seems like they're saying that these are personality traits, so it would be very difficult to break those on your own, just with your will. It might take some introspection and some other points of view to kind of help you realize what you're doing and when you're doing it. But I don't know. Do you have a better idea as to how to combat it, Multi?
Maybe a bit after what I wanted to bring up, because you brought up many times gaslighting, and it's funny because I feel like in today's world, the moment you critique something or you disagree, I feel like sometimes people think it's gaslighting. I think gaslighting is blown out of proportion most of the time today. Any thoughts on that, Gray?
You're right. Like, it seems like, the public kind of became aware of that kind of, whatever you want to call it, the term or the allegation, and then everything is now gaslighting, where it's like, no, I could just be wrong. Like, I didn't see you do this one thing. I'm not trying to like make you go crazy or whatever by denying this thing that or this thing that you said. I don't remember you saying it. So I don't know. That's when I've been accused of gaslighting. It's like, I know I said that to you. You're just gaslighting. It's like, I don't remember you saying it. Like, maybe. So I don't know. I think it would be cool if we didn't like kind of weaponize medical terms like that. The other thing is kind of this narcissism thing. Like, people start diagnosing others as narcissists, where it's like, no, they're probably just thinking about themselves in the moment. They weren't thinking about it. That might be somewhat narcissistic, like the trait, but that's not a clinical diagnosis. I think a lot of that whole gaslighting is kind of the same type of deal. I'm sure you guys know where that term comes from, but it is actually this movie where this guy kept lowering the lamp to dimmer and dimmer, and then kept telling his wife, like, no, it's not getting darker in here. You're just seeing that. And it slowly made her crazy. So that's kind of where we get that in like the common parlance. But yeah, I think it is being overused as like accusations. I don't think people are actually trying to make somebody else go insane or be committed. That would be really horrible. But if somebody is doing that, yeah, that seems really dark empathy. Like that seems like a dark empath and a horrible tool to use someone's own emotions to kind of manipulate them. That would suck. But as for how you deal with somebody, I'm not sure. I've never had anyone like straight up try to make me convince me that I am crazy because of things that I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure exactly how you deal with that other than, nowadays everyone has those like Ring camera doorbells or whatever. If somebody keeps telling you like the lights aren't getting dimmer and you think they are, maybe use one of those inside and then you'd have photo evidence that it's not the same. Get a light meter. I don't know. Do something to kind of verify. Don't just trust yourself. You could totally be wrong as well. And don't assume the worst of somebody, but, maybe verify your suspicions.
And it's interesting because I did hear a story about someone else gaslighting someone else, and the one that was doing the gaslighting, they didn't really do it in purpose, but they end up doing it anyway. Like they said all of the worst thing and worst trait to the other person, and that was a mess. So yeah. Any thoughts on that, DC? Do you think we overuse gaslighting term?
Not really, because I would say gaslighting, that the term isn't really like a used term as often as it kind of should be. So that's why I won't say, I don't think it's like overused.
I certainly
Okay.
hope you're right, man. I just know that I've been accused of it a couple times in the last couple of years, and it's like, what the hell? Like, where did you all hear this term? Because you could just say like I'm lying or I'm incorrect, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Suddenly, like this extra connotation that I'm like trying to make you think that you're insane. It's like, no, I don't remember you saying that. I'm thinking back to one specific thing where I was told I'm gaslighting somebody because I don't remember something that they said. I was like, I don't think that works there. Like I wasn't paying that much attention. I'm sorry I missed it.
yeah, that's kind of the thing.
Yeah, I hope you're right that it's not that common.
Yeah.
It just I had never dealt with it, and then all of a sudden it came up like back to back in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, because I believe lying is the more common term, but yeah, that's kind of the thing. But yeah.
So I read through stuff right now, and I feel like um what we could do to prevent dark empathy is, in the first place, knowing what it is. I think it's the best way to prevent it, either to make sure you don't make it or you don't fall for it. I think that's the best way to frame it. I said it so many times. Um, but yeah, stop playing the victim, I think. And maybe stop ghosting people. Just tell people, look, I'm occupied, or I will get back at you, or stuff like that. Or gossiping is really bad as well. So there's a bunch of stuff we could do to not fall into these traps. And sometimes we do this and we don't even realize what we are doing. And that's sad. So sometimes, like, an outsider perspective is appreciated, um, to understand some of the stuff. Um, so yeah, I will be honest. I don't know what I can add. I think we covered it a lot, um, and it's interesting to talk about that. Um,
Hmm.
Do you know anything you'd like to add, Dre?
Yeah, I guess just looking into it a little bit more. I was just googling like how could you, combat dark empathy, and it was kind of saying that like a lot of people who are dark empaths, they're not necessarily doing it consciously. They're not just like monsters who are looking to hurt everybody in unimaginable ways. It turns out it's a lot more of like a defense mechanism. Like they're able to kind of make themselves the victim, and then they're able to like garner sympathy, even if like they might have been in the wrong. If they somehow make it that it's kind of your fault and they're the victim in this, it's just an easier way to cope. So it's really tough because it is kind of a personality trait. So I don't know. There's a lot of things that have been kind of suggested, but a lot of them are kind of like mindfulness, meditation, self-care, compassion, leaning on supportive people. But I don't know. A lot of these, from everything that I've been looking up, people who are complaining about dealing with dark empaths are people who are like in a job with them. So it's not like you can just separate yourself from like your coworkers or whatever. That seems to be like the most difficult thing. Because obviously, if you're in a relationship with somebody like that and they are, constantly being the victim and making you kind of the bad guy on top of manipulating you, I think most of us would choose to get out of that situation. So it's kind of more the difficult situations like a job or school or something where you're forced to be in a environment with this person and interact with them. That's going to be tough, but a lot of times they say practicing self-care on yourself will help you not succumb to kind of their emotional manipulation. So good luck. It's not going to be an easy road to toe, but a lot of people say set boundaries and consider cutting them out of your life. I don't know if that's really an option if you're, working with one, or say your boss is one or something like that. That'd be really tough to cut your boss out of your life.
And I think cutting literally people off your life, sometimes it's needed when you tried everything, but I feel like a lot of people, that's their first resort. So like, oh, something doesn't work for them, let's cut off people. It's like, I get it. Like, I did cut off people from my life, but it shouldn't be like option A. It shouldn't be like the first thing you do, because then you just showcase that you're not really able to cope with differences and such. It's just showcase that you have very low tolerance. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm crazy. Any thoughts on that, Dre?
I agree with you if you're just like cutting everyone off, but I don't know if there is somebody who really is kind of weaponizing your own emotions and manipulating you. I don't know if you can't find a way to kind of deal with it and you can't set up boundaries. I think cutting them off isn't the worst idea. Again, it's not always practical, but you're right. Like if you're cutting everybody out of your life, that's a problem as well. We all do need, we're very social animals as humans. You can't cut everybody out of your life. You got to have some room for somebody else. Even like everything that I've seen is saying, lean on supportive people or seek therapy. I guess if you're cutting everybody else out of your life but your therapist, maybe that would work for you for a time. But, they're not your friend. they are somebody that you pay to kind of analyze you and to kind of help you figure things out. It's not the same as having a friend. So I don't know. That doesn't seem healthy to me to cut everybody out of your life. But if there's an unhealthy person and you can't set up boundaries, it seems perfectly reasonable to me. So I don't know. Is that enough fence sitting? I'm not exactly. I agree with you. If you're just going to cut everybody out of your life, that's also unhealthy. But you don't need to keep unhealthy people there if they won't adhere to your boundaries or listen to what you're telling them you need out of this relationship.
Yeah, yeah. Very good points. And what about you, DC? Do you think anything we said make any sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay. Well, Gray, do you want to add something else? Because I think you were very able to add more to this.
That's kind of my cursory research into the subject. I know I've kind of seen like weaponized empathy where people are trying to manipulate you based off of your emotions. I kind of thought that's where this was going. And then, yeah, like 10 minutes before this podcast, I just kind of Googled it. It's like, oh, shit, there's a lot more to this than I was anticipating. And it's not what I was thinking going in. So I honestly feel like I've added about everything I can. What about you, Multi? You have more of a psych background, if you will. Do you feel like you have anything more to add on this rather wide subject?
All I will say is maybe one time we all did once dark empathy without realizing it, and without even realizing it was wrong, because I think some of the things there sometimes come from like a good place. It's not all bad. But again, once you realize, oh, that was kind of wrong, um, then it's time to change. If you realize there's something wrong there, um, and you, DC, do you want to add something on that?
Not really.
Okay, well, um, I guess that's the time. So DC, what do you have going on your end of the internet?
I've been getting some videos ready. I've been trying to get some ideas. I should have a video coming out tomorrow. But yeah, it's pretty much all I have.
Okay, and what about you, Gray?
Yeah, I should have a return of my original show, Just Be Honest, very shortly. We're just trying to figure out a recording schedule that works for both of us. We have a few episodes in the can, so to speak, but if I start releasing those and we're not recording, it gets weird. So I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. Ring the bell, stay tuned. But you can always catch me every Thursday on That Darn Kiddas channel for The Thinkers every Thursday morning. And, hey, tomorrow morning, it would be the same thing. But yeah, it's panelists from at least 3 different continents getting together, disagreeing on everything, but doing it somewhat civilly. If you've ever wanted to think about something, join us. Be a thinker on That Darn Kiddas channel every Thursday. Hell yeah. What do you have going on your side of the internet, Multi?
Finally, after like 9 months, my Naruto video is ready. It will be a 3-parter because I realized it's goddamn 6 hours of footage. So yeah, I didn't realize that as I was recording. I enjoyed doing it. I cannot wait to upload it. Probably
Wow,
next
man.
weekend.
6 hours though? That is
Yeah.
that is
Divided
a
in 3
decent
parts.
chunk, man. I don't think I've ever done a video that long. Congrats, man.
That's all the fork, man. And yeah, I also have recorded most of my Walking Dead video. Well, it's a 3-parter again because that one I know will be very long. Um, Outside of
Cool.
that, next Tuesday, I think it's next Tuesday. I'm actually not 100% sure, but I do think next Tuesday we talk about Infinity War and Ant-Man and the Wasp. Tuesday. So I think you have seen both, right, Gray?
Yes. It has been a while since I've seen both, but yeah, I remember. Yes, I remember seeing both in theater, but God, that's a while ago now. It seems like a different world. That was pre-COVID.
I'm wondering if you'd be available to join, because I will try to get as many people as possible next Tuesday, because usually the Tuesdays with Marvel stuff I get a bunch of people. That's amazing. Like yeah, so that's the invite there if
I
you're
might be
interested
able
to join us.
to. It just kind of depends, like how busy next week gets. It really sucks. I wish I hadn't gotten sick this last weekend. I was really looking forward to talking about. So not only did I watch the 3 episodes of The Acolyte that were out, but I also watched the 3 episodes of The Boys. Excuse me. There's not just one of them. There's many. But yeah, I was looking forward to talking about that, and then stupid illness. But yeah. Yes. I think I'd probably have some time on Tuesday, but pencil me in. Don't do it in pen.
Okay, and there's a second chance if you're by miracle available Saturday for Acolyte and the Boys, because that's basically a weekly thing I will be doing. I will be covering a weekly Acolyte and the Boys on Saturdays usually. Um, and
I
very,
guess just kind of a hint to it. I know it's a different show. We're not talking about it here, but do you hate it as much as the internet is hating? Sorry, the Acolyte.
I'm divided. I will be honest. I'm divided. Look, the first episode I thought was a bit above average. The second one I liked it a lot,
Did
but
the
the
third
third one,
completely kill your hope in Star Wars and forever make you want to burn it, like the internet is saying?
not necessarily. I could understand that feeling, but it's not the worst thing I've seen. I mean, Halo was far worse.
It's not the worst Star Wars property that's out there, sadly. But fair enough. I think I fit very similarly. I guess I would consider myself in your camp on this one as well.
I to be honest, I'd rather watch the Acolyte than the Book of Boba Fett, because to be honest, that shit is like, wow. I think I was too gentle when we covered it last year, but wow. Yeah, I think the Acolyte.
Fair enough. I'm glad to hear that you're not just full of hate for it, because that appears to be the internet right now. I
Yeah,
see like two people that are defending it. I don't necessarily want to defend it, but I don't hate it like everyone else is hating it. So I don't know.
yeah, I've seen worse. You talk to someone that's seen so many TV shows, and I think a lot of the hate. It's sad to say, but maybe I can slide in some dark empathy, because the people like use others' anger to promote their platform. Like, they know people hate Star Wars, so let's hate Star Wars together to get your sub or to get whatever.
It appears to be
Whatever.
working, man. Everyone's
Yeah.
clicking on the Star Wars is broken. Everybody's going to burn Disney, like whatever. Yeah, fair enough. I've seen a bunch of like kind of smaller channels get huge clicks on those, so it's working.
Yeah. And it's a bit sad. And I will be honest. So I haven't seen 4. I think 4 came out last night,
yes,
right?
yep.
I
Tuesday
will
at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So yeah,
I will most likely watch it Friday morning right after work, and that's usually why the streams are on Saturdays. It's because Friday usually I catch up with like the Boys and Acolyte, and I also started watching Fallout because next month, no, not next month, 2 months from now, a month and a half, like Borderland the movie is coming out in August,
yeah.
and for my podcast that I will start next month, we will be covering Borderland and Fallout because they are two IPs based on video games.
I can see a similarity. Yeah, for sure. Not only a game, but kind of a similar world. You know, like a post, I don't know, modernity, whatever you want to call that. Fair enough.
Yeah.
And
that
is interesting.
I started watching it and I enjoy it. I just see a big difference between Acolyte and Fallout. Fallout,
Oh, for sure.
I adore it. Acolyte, it depends.
Did you ever watch Westworld? It was the HBO show back in the day.
I did try a few episodes. I liked.
That's the same writer
trying.
director from Fallout. It's Jonathan Nolan. He's Christopher Nolan's brother, but he does like this mystery thing that really kind of hooks you in. I think Acolyte is trying to do that, but I don't think they're doing it quite right. I'm not hooked on every episode.
Westworld, what I've seen was good. I enjoyed it, but I felt like it was very heavy, and as much as it's good, it's not bad. It's just like, okay,
It's a heavy show.
It's another hour. I need like all of the focus in the world just to watch this. I cannot really binge watch that, even if it's good.
Well,
it's just that
you only have to watch one season of it, though. Some people say season 2 is good, but there's a huge fall off. But season 1 is universally loved. So if you do ever watch it, you only have to stop at 1. You don't have to go any further. But
you see,
I get what you're saying with that too.
When I start something, usually I finish it. So we spoke about that, and that just reminded me I did start that. So eventually I will finish it when I remember, when I will remember. Um, anyway, so yeah, outside of that, there's another show I want to rewatch, and that's Lucifer because that's a great show I liked, and I want to do a video about it. So a
You should,
lot
man.
is going on. I don't want to just release stuff I ate.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot easier. It definitely gets clicks like this thing is stupid as opposed to like, hey, this was good. What are you more likely to click on? But I have so many saved in my like watch later queue that are like, this is good. Why it's actually great. It's like, okay. And then I don't know why I never click on it. Instead, it's always the bombastic, this is the worst thing ever. Disney is now set on fire. Everyone's being fired. Yeah, I don't know why. That gets me to click on it. I guess I'm human.
That's hilarious. And what did you think of the boys? So without going too deep, because we can still talk about it next Saturday if you're available.
You know, I actually really liked it. I've talked to a bunch of people who are like saying that's way too political, and it's like, yeah, I guess there's certain things like they kind of have a reference to Pizzagate, and they kind of have a reference to some kind of right wing media, and then the election has to take place by January 6th. So there's like some things that they're adding into there, but I got to be honest, this felt so much less heavy handed with the politics than I can't remember if it was season 2 or season 3. I want to say it was season 2. Just felt too like ham-fisted to me. This feels like it's less. So I don't know. I don't have a problem with it. I'd like to see where it's going. I'm liking all the characters in the conflict, and hell, even the thing with Starlight, where everyone was mocking the actress because she got like some plastic surgery. I'm not really noticing a difference. And this is season 4, so this would have been well after her surgery. I don't know. She looks normal to me. There's like this meme going around where like season 1, season 4 of the actress that plays Starlight, and showing like the difference. And it's like, I really don't see it. Like, I don't know. I think a lot
young.
of the
I
sure.
don't understand young people doing surgery like that.
Just
Why?
because you're young and beautiful doesn't mean that you can't find something that you don't like about yourself. Everybody can find flaws, and hey, if you can surgically remove them, more power to you. But I don't know. I just found a whole bunch of the criticism overhyped. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I like it a lot more than the. Now I'm forgetting. I want to keep calling her Homelander, but the Stormfront lady. I like this. Yeah, this one a lot more than Stormfront that season. I think that was 2.
Oh, really? That's interesting. I did like Stormfront more. That's the one thing I liked about season 2. I hated season 2,
like,
but I liked
the character. I just felt like it was a way for them to like ham-fistedly put a bunch of politics into the show. Where I didn't feel like season 1 was nearly as political, but. Man, they're going pretty hard with some of this stuff. I'm digging it. I want to see where it's going. This actually has me excited to see the next one.
Yeah.
How about you? Do you find it overly political, or do you see a lot of that criticism being accurate?
I see it, but to the show defense, I feel like it was always political. Season 3 was, season 2 was, even season 1 was, but it was better. Season 1 for me was peak. It was the best season because it had the message,
and that is the closest to the source material as well.
It had the message in it, and it wasn't ham-fisted as you say. And literally, season 1 for me was a masterpiece, and I felt like season 2 was such a letdown, and season 3 just kept going on the same track. And now, season 4, I will say, is nowhere near as good as 1, but it's a massive improvement compared to 2 and 3. I don't know if it's because I've seen Gen V and I have seen how low it can go, or if it's because it's generally good.
There was so much potential. Like the theories that I was coming up with in my head is like, no, they're really going to pay this off. Like there's going to be some awesome stuff in Gen V, and it just... They didn't pay off anything. It really upset me and left a bad taste in my mouth. I'm not currently getting that from this. So, yeah, I'm kind of excited to see where they're going to end up with season 4.
I'm hype about both shows, and I like talking about it every week. Anyway, with that being said, this shall be the end for tonight. Thank you, guys. That was another great one.